Hello, my name is Evan Dyer, and I'm a graduate social work intern here at ProMedica Flower Hospital. It is really nice to meet you today. Um, Today, I wanted to review the limits of confidentiality and informed consent. Um, Before we begin every services, this is something I'd like to go over with all my clients, um, and it helps you understand. Well, its purpose, I should say, is to help you understand that your information is protected. However, there are a few situations that I may need to share information for safety reasons. Feel free to ask any questions throughout this meeting. Um, do you have any questions about confidentiality? Well, that's a great question. So, what confidentiality means is that most of what you share with me is private. This means that I can't go to other people, whether it be a best friend or a random stranger, and talk with them about your information unless you give me permission. My role here is to create a safe space for you to talk openly and honestly about what is going on. There are, however, a few legal and ethical situations that that require me to share certain information in order to keep you or other people safe. And I'll explain I'll explain each of these clearly. And again, stop me if you have any questions. Um, but yeah, so let's go over the first one. So the first one is the first exception is mandated reporting. And what that means is if you tell me something where it makes me believe that a child, an elderly adult, or a person with disabilities is being abused, neglected, or is in danger, sorry about that, I am required by law to report that to protective services. Now, if I believe that there is a report is needed, I would explain my concerns to you first so you would understand what is going on. My goal here is not to punish anybody, but rather it is to make sure that people are safe. Um, do you have any questions about that one? All right, let's move on. Alrighty then. All right. The second exception is when uh, I believe uh, the second exception is when involves safety for when it comes to self harm. I should say. Sorry, I stumbled over my words. Um, if you were to tell me something that if you were to tell me that basically you were having thoughts about hurting yourself, and I believe that there is an immediate risk of harm, I may need to involve others to help keep you safe. This may mean like a crisis services or another hospital, whatever is necessary to make sure that you are safe. Now, it is important for me to note that simply mentioning depression or feeling overwhelmed does not automatically make you suicidal or does not automatically mean I have to report anything. We want you to walk and talk through your feelings together so that we can figure out the best plan to support you. Okay? That makes sense? Any questions? Perfect. Let's keep moving. The next exception is duty to warn. Now, same thing, kind of similar to self harm. If you share with me that you have a plan or an intention to seriously harm another individual, and that person it can be identified, I may be required to warn them or notify law enforcement in order to protect them. Again, this does not mean that you can't vent or express frustration or anger. This only applies when you make it known that there is a clear, specific plan and that there is an identified person. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Um, yep. Alrighty, we're gonna move on then. The last exception is is when it comes to legal records and court subpoenas. Um, Confidentiality may be limited in this situation because your records are being subpoenaed by a court, or if a judge were to order certain information to be released. If that were to happen, I will let you know, and then we can talk about what that process looks like and what the next steps would be. Um, and those are the four situations. Everything else other than those specific situations, everything else you share with me would stay between us. Again, I want to state that my goal is to make a supportive, non-judgmental space where you feel comfortable being yourself. I know this is a little heavy, but it is important that you understand these and understand your rights and how your privacy is protected. So I wish you the best today, and thank you for meeting with me.